Hi, I'm Ben Clark. I'm CEO of Ann Clark Ltd. And today we're going to frost a cake, which is one of my favorite things to do. We're using some of our Ann Clark cake and frosting mixes. These are gourmet quality mixes. When we created these mixes, we worked with a couple recipe developers. And I said, I want a cake that has uncompromisingly great quality. I want a cake that somebody eats and says, oh my, that's good. I want somebody that at the end of the dinner party, they come up to me alone and say, seriously, Ben, can I get the recipe? That's what we've created here. Okay, so first step, I'm using a turning stand. If you have one, they're great. They're not that expensive. If you don't, you can just use a plate. The next thing I do, a little trick I learned, is I took 2 pieces of parchment paper, cut them in half, and just overlap them in the middle. What's going to happen is as we frost the cake, there'll be frosting left over on the edge. We'll pull that out and it'll leave the cake on a plate and it'll look perfect. Okay, so I have frosting and I have our chocolate cake. Okay, first step, take the chocolate cake, set it right on the pan, try to get it in the middle. Good, okay. Now I'm going to just frost about 1/4 of an inch or so of frosting just on this top part. So I will scoop it out. I'm going to say this a couple of times, but in my opinion, dessert's fun. It should taste great, it should look great, and it should be fun to do. This is a fun process. Don't get hung up, is it perfect? Don't get hung, oops, that happens. Use your hands, have fun. It's cake. Cake is fun. Oh wow, this looks so good. So I've got about 1/4 of an inch there. Now I'm going to put my next layer on. Here's the trick. I'm going to take the layer and put it in upside down. Why? Because the bottom has a nice sharp edge and will give you a more finished looking cake. Okay, the next thing I'm going to do is called a crumb coat. So as you frost, little pieces of crumbs will come out on the cake. And that doesn't look good because I want this to be all white because I'm using a white frosting. So I'm going to guess about that much, maybe about that much. That's good. You can tell you don't have to measure exactly. Okay, so I'm spread it out a little bit. Now I'm going to take a little bit on my knife. I'm going to scrape it down the side and just rub it around the side. Doesn't have to be very thick, just a nice crumb coat. And again, there's going to be another coat over this, so it doesn't have to be perfect. If you don't think you're having enough fun, it's okay to nibble on the frosting as you go. You can see I'm picking up flecks of the cake in the frosting. That's okay, because this is all going to harden in the refrigerator. Okay, so I'm just trying to get it even. People have asked, Ben, why are your cakes so good? Well, we have an amazing recipe developer. That helps. Most important, we use the best ingredients. We didn't save money on ingredients. I said, we want a great cake, let's put great stuff in it, and that's how you get a great cake. If it looks great, that's even better. Okay, so it's almost there. So it's a sort of a smooth sort of foundation for the rest of the frosting. And then we're just going to chill it in the fridge. I think we're ready to go. That's ready to chill. So we're going to chill this for about a half an hour. We'll be right back with you. Thank you. Okay, we're back. We have frosting the cake. We've got about 1/4 of an inch of frosting on the inside. We've put our crumb coat on, so now it's a little bit firm. And as we frost it, those little specks of chocolate aren't going to come through. Okay, remember, dessert's fun. This is supposed to be fun. Let's not all get hung up. Okay, so I am going to take the frosting and very carefully load it on top. Not all of it, but most of it. Okay. So what I'm going to do, I smooth out the top a little bit. Now I'm just going to work it to the sides. I'll grab some, I'll sort of scrape it down to the sides and then work it around. And scrape and work it around. I'm just trying to get it kind of on in a bulk manner because that's how I do things. So I'm getting the sides so they're basically fully covered. I would hate to have a part of the cake uncovered. Again, if you have one of these turntables, it's great. If you don't, you can use a plate and that works fine. Okay, I've got that done. So now I'm going to take the balance of the frosting. I think what's important is when you're pulling all the frosting from the thing, don't get all of it because you want some that you can lick with your fingers later on. Okay, that's important. Okay, that's most of it. That's good. I just plop it on top. Smooth it on top, and then whatever's left, whatever I need on the sides, I work down. I'm going to try to make the edge, this corner, relatively square. Kind of give it a finished look. And you can keep working it. I mean, it's kind of fun to play with. This little empty spot there. Okay, now I'm going to kind of, everything's covered, so I'm just going to kind of randomly put some texture to it because I think it looks pretty. Okay, and the edges I'm going to do kind of a little, just picking a random, sort of kind of pick a pattern and then repeat it. Some people take it with a stiff thing and go around and make it all smooth. I like it to be a little bit more random. We frosted a cake. I think I would serve that as a dinner party. The thing that's great is the cake looks good. They know that I made the cake. They know I'm not a professional froster, but this looks very nice. What's important is this cake will taste phenomenal. People that try this will say, oh my God, that's a good cake. This is not, this is not a store-bought cake. This is not one of those inexpensive box mixes. This is a phenomenal cake that I would be comfortable serving to anybody. And people will say things like, can I take some of it home? Can I have a second piece? This will be fun. Now, the final part, if you remember, we put this parchment paper. I am going to very carefully lift it off the parchment paper. I'll do the other side, pull it to the center of the plate. Okay. Voila. So now it's on the plate, but it's clean because all the mess was left in the parchment paper. Thank you so much. Hey, enjoy your cake and hope you enjoy dessert.